Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to the official YouTube channel of news all over the world. Right now, we bring you the latest and most significant updates from around the world. On April 8th, U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, who oversees tariff enforcement, announced that there would be no exemptions to President Donald Trump's global tariff policy in the near future. Speaking before the U.S. Senate Finance Committee, Greer emphasized that the president had made it clear there will be no waivers or exceptions for now. According to Greer, granting exemptions would undermine the principle of reciprocal trade. He also noted that there is no specific timeline for future trade negotiations. Previously, on April 2nd, President Trump announced a baseline tariff of 10% on imports from all countries and regions, along with higher tariffs targeting nations with trade surpluses with the United States. In addition, the Trump administration is set to impose retaliatory tariffs on countries it deems responsible for trade imbalances. The tariff threats have triggered significant turbulence in global markets, with analysts warning of heightened inflation and a looming global recession. While many U.S. trading partners have voiced strong opposition, more than 50 countries have expressed readiness to negotiate. Trump's tariff policy has begun to alienate major business figures, influential investors, and even Republican lawmakers who were once staunch allies. Analysts warn that this could mark the early signs of lasting political damage for the U.S. president as the world reacts to what some are calling a trade war. In the early days of Trump's presidency, many business leaders remained cautiously supportive, even as the administration slashed federal jobs, strained relations with Europe, and cracked down on immigration. However, by April 7th, President Trump firmly declared that he would not suspend the tariffs, despite rising pressure. The rift is most visible within the American business community. CEOs who once championed Trump's policies are now reassessing the potential fallout of tariffs on investment portfolios and supply chains. Bill Ackman, CEO of Pershing Square Capital Management and a former Trump campaign supporter in 2024, issued a sharp rebuke, likening the tariffs to an economic nuclear war. Ackman warned that the policy would stall business investment, curtail consumer spending, and tarnish America's global standing for years, perhaps decades. He urged a 90-day pause to renegotiate with trade partners and called for fairer terms. "This is not what we voted for," he stated. Other top financiers echoed these concerns. Jamie Dimon, CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, warned that the new tariffs could fuel inflation, slow global growth, and weaken America's strategic position. Billionaire Stanley Druckenmiller stated his opposition to any tariffs above 10%. Ken Fisher, founder of Fisher Investments, went further, calling Trump's tax policy stupid, wrong, extreme, and uninformed. "He rarely comments on presidential decisions," he said, "but in this case, the tariffs have gone too far." Even Elon Musk, once close to Trump, called for balanced tariffs between the U.S. and Europe during a virtual interview with Italian Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini. Musk voiced his support for a free and efficient transatlantic trade zone, linking Europe and North America. Nevertheless, Trump defended the policy as a step toward correcting long-standing trade disadvantages, citing unfairly high foreign tariffs on U.S. goods. Following the tariff announcements, Asian and European markets plunged, with U.S. futures indicating further declines. When asked about the market downturn, Trump compared the situation to taking medicine for a sickness. "I don't want anything to go down," he said. "But sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something." Trump further accused previous U.S. administrations of allowing unfair trade practices and insisted that America is now much stronger than before. With regard to China, Trump declared he would not sign any deal unless the trade deficit with the world's second-largest economy was addressed. In response, China announced sweeping retaliatory measures, imposing a 34% tariff on American goods starting April 10th. These included agricultural and energy products, raising the total tariff rate on U.S. imports to 54%, factoring in Trump's earlier 20% levy. China also devalued its currency, setting the yuan at its weakest level since September 2023. Additionally, Beijing imposed export restrictions on critical rare earth elements and banned dual-use goods for dozens of U.S. companies in the defense and aerospace industries. 11 American firms were placed on an unreliable entities list, facing expanded restrictions. Meanwhile, U.S. Customs began collecting the 10% baseline tariff on April 5th. The reciprocal tariffs, ranging from 11% to 50% depending on the country, took effect at 12:01 a.m. U.S. time on April 9th, 4:01 Greenwich Mean Time. Speaking on ABC News this week, Trump's top economic advisor Kevin Hassett denied that the tariffs were a strategy to crash the market and pressure the Fed to cut interest rates. He insisted the administration was not coercing the Fed. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said 50 to 70 countries had reached out to Trump's administration expressing a desire to negotiate. In an April 7th interview on Good Law, Bessent claimed that Trump was a master of leverage and had created a window of opportunity for negotiations. Bessent added that countries were encouraged to propose reductions in tariffs, eliminate non-tariff barriers, and end currency manipulation. He urged calm, de-escalation, and practical proposals, expressing hope that April through June would be a very busy season for diplomacy. As the pressure escalates, China vowed to fight to the end, calling Trump's threats a mistake on top of a mistake. If the U.S. proceeds with its tariff hike, China will respond in kind.